Hi, welcome back to another video for this particular series of videos. What we're going to do in this one is preparing a setup for domain name server security. Just a really quick brief of information about what that is. So it's a set of extensions that add an additional layer of security by enabling responses set to the DNS clients or resolvers to be validated, right? So usually whenever a DNS resolver queries a zone that is signed by a DNSSEC, the authenticity and integrity of its responses are ensured with the use of its security keys. So we're just going to be doing a bit of that and a few, as far as implementing DNSSEC and a few other things, right? So let's get started here. So first, I'm just going to create a zone, and I'm going to use the primary zone, which is the writable zone in DNS. To test zone signing for DNS usage. To keep the current configurations on the server safe, I'm going to create a new zone for testing purposes. And I'm going to do that starting with the server manager here. So let's go ahead to the DNS portion of the tools from the server manager dashboard. I'm just going to click here and for lookup zone. Let's see. All right, perfect. And then it's going to create a new zone, like I mentioned. Just want to stay here. I'm just going to verify that the primary zone option and the store the zone in Active Directory, make sure that they're both checked, which they are. To all DNS service running on domain controllers in this domain by default. And then for the zone name, it's going to secure the practice labs. Yeah, that's it. All right, and I just want to only allow secure dynamic updates for our Active Directory. All right, so just going to hit next and finish. All right, and then I'm just going to review that. I'd just like to review, at least in real time, the newly created zone. So I'm just going to actually hit refresh here. And refresh here so we can see everything. I always like to double check, right? So now I'm just going to head back to, stay on this dialog box for the DNS Manager, right? And then I'm going to open this guy up here. Then I'm just going to do a new host. And then I'm going to use www 192.168.0.1. I'm going to add host. All right, then www 192.168.0.1.0.2. Add host again. All right, perfect. All right, so just going to keep this window open. And now I'm just going to create a non-authoritative DNS server. So I'm just going to install this. It's not going to be used for resolving names in our network because it won't have any writable DNS zones. So it's just going to be used instead for storing DNS security keys from our lab that we have here, right? That's hosting the secure practice labs. So anyway, so I'm just going to pivot over to the DMO1 server here. I'm just going to start with this dashboard. Then we're going to head to the PowerShell. Let's see. All right, perfect. Now I'm going to install the DNS on this particular server. And with that, I'll need a few commands here. Perfect. So now we see it collecting the data. Shouldn't take too long, right? See. Didn't take too long. Take just a bit longer than expected. Shouldn't be too much longer. Perfect. So it has finally completed installing that here. So I'm going to head back to the dashboard for the server manager. Then we're going to click on the DNS here. All right. So now I'm just going to take a look at the server here and then properties, then forwarders, then edit here. And we want to place the IP that we just created here. Perfect. All right, so this sets the IP that we have there, that we set there as the forwarder server, right? So it's going to attempt to resolve the IP address we just placed to its host, the DC01, right? It takes a few moments, but I don't have to wait for that. That's why I just clicked OK out of it, right? So now we're back in our, let's see, we're back in our DNS Manager, just going to keep that open. Now I'm just going to create a secondary domain controller. So it's going to be used to demonstrate how DNS security keys are transferred between DNS servers and that they're running as domain controllers. So just going to do a few things here. I'm going to pivot over to the SA01. Then I'm going to right start here into the command prompt. Then here, I believe it's what's this one? And user practice labs and PowerShell. Right. Perfect. And as you can see, the password was it didn't appear, it was just math characters. So now we have a new PowerShell window that opens. So I'm just going to add a new command. So use the space and things. All right, perfect. So now it's collecting the data. So the AD or Active Directory domain services are being installed. So we're going to install the AD domain service support files. So I'm just waiting for the install to complete. Then I'm going to enter in a few more prompts to move forward along. Just a second. All right, perfect. So we've successfully installed the AD domain services. So I'm now going to go ahead and move forward with the next prompt here. So let's type. Let's see. Okay, there it is. All right. Yes. All right, perfect. So I'm just going to wait a few moments while the secondary domain controller is being installed. It may take a few minutes, but after it successfully installs, this server, the SA01 server, is going to have to restart. Then I'll be able to move on to the next exercise. All right, perfect. So everything has officially been rebooted since installing. So now I'm just going to move forward with configuring the domain name server security. So I'm just going to just say that configuring this is a straightforward process using the DNS Manager at least. It's one of the most important settings for signing the zone that's provided by the DNSSEC wizard. All right, so I'm just going to just get straight to it. So now that we have the DNS server open, actually I'm on the wrong server here. I need to get back to this one. All right, perfect. So I'm just going to hit Secure Practice Labs here. Then I'm just going to hit here, and I'm going to assign the zone. All right, and we're going to use the default settings to design the zone. All right. All right, perfect. So now it has been successfully completed. So now I'm just going to refresh. Let's see, then you'll see some different things here on the side. There it is. All right, perfect. So the updated contents of the secured zone show a padlock icon here appended to the zone folder. And similarly, the resource record types have been further expanded to show the resource records that are assigned by the DNS. All right, so now I'm just going to distribute the TA to a non-authoritative DNS server. So earlier, I installed and configured a non-authoritative DNS server on this server here, DM01, and the purpose setting that up, right, is to test the distribution of the DNS security keys, which is also called the trust anchor among DNS servers, at least, such as a non-authoritative DNS server and a domain controller that's running a DNS server. running as a DNS server rather. So what a trust anchor essentially is, it's a set of keys that protects the DNS server as it assigns the zone and validates the DNS responses to DNSSEC-aware client's computer. All right, so I'm just going to show how to share a trust anchor among the different DNS servers. So let's see, I'm just going to open up File Explorer here. Just going to go through a few windows. So I got this PC, then Windows, then let's see, System 32, then DNS. All right. There it is. There it is. Advanced sharing. That should be share this folder. Okay. All right, perfect. So now that I've done this, so now I'm just going to connect back to the DM1 server. We have the DNS Manager still open, good. All right, so just gonna hover over trust point. All right, so I don't see anything here, which I should, so I'm just gonna refresh here. Actually, I'm gonna refresh here. No, okay, that's fine. I'll just do this here. Actually, let me just close this out. Okay, actually, let me take a look at something else here first. Just gonna hit import, then DNS, then secure. Perfect. All right, there we go. All right, so we got that taken care of. So now I'm just going to go back to the DNS Manager, and then it should be, there we go. That's what I was looking for. I forgot to add it there, but that's fine. So now that we see the contents of the secure folder that we have here under Trust Point, the displayed in the details for the right pane, right? So that means the DNS keys imported from the signed domain are on the authoritative server for DC01, right? So I'm just going to keep this open. Now I'm going to verify the DNS trust anchors, the TAs. So now that we've distributed the DNS trust anchor to the non-authoritative DNS server, I'm now going to test the TA to see if it can be detected by the DNSSEC-aware clients, so such as like Windows 8, at least in this lab, and higher versions. And this task is just going to use another server as well, which is the Windows 10. All right, perfect. So it's going to go to the PowerShell here, right? And I'm going to, as administrator. All right, perfect. All right, so I'm just going to exit to, all right. Perfect. So now that the command is going to detect and list the DNS key, TA, whatever, wherever it's found on the network, as we can see here, right? So now we see the two TAs are listed, each one on the DC01 and the DM01 servers, right? So now I'm just going to distribute the trust anchors to a secondary domain controller. So typically the DNSSEC keys are copied to the other DNS servers for redundancy and then create an island of trust, right? So between the DNS servers and the host that's assigned the DNS zone, right? So now I'm just going to replicate the DNSSEC trust anchors to a secondary domain controller that I previously configured. So to distribute that, I'm just going to reconnect back to the server. All right, just gonna, let's see, right click here. DNSSEC properties. All right, perfect. Then it should be trust anchor. All right, perfect. Then enable. Let's see, yep, click here. Yes, of course. Okay. All right, perfect. So now, actually, let me refresh again. Here. All right, perfect. So now, you see, long story short, just going through the process here. I'm just gonna stay quiet and just keep moving along here. Let's see. All right, perfect. All right, perfect. Then should be, see here. Okay. There it is. All right, perfect, perfect. So now let's see, should be all right, perfect. So now I'm seeing that the replicated resource records, right, from DC01. So it's going to leave this open. Now I'm going to query a signed zone without the DNSSEC validation required. So the zone that we've created earlier has been signed with the DNSSEC. So now I'm going to test if the signed zone can be queried without the validation of the DNSSEC. So to query, it's going to connect to, let's see, this one here. And then actually maybe a lot of and D okay. There it is. All right, perfect. So now we see the results of the DNS query command, right here. And then we'll notice that the workstation, it shows a successful response for the DNS Trust Anchors successfully the place of the network of the lab network. So now I'm going to verify that the DNSSEC validation is not required with this here. Policy. All right, so let's see. Actually, I think I placed it in here wrong. And RPT. This should give me no response. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Perfect. Usually 9 times out of 10, or a lot of times, I know if I see this, I may have entered the command in incorrectly. So now that we've seen that we got no response, right? So as far as the command to determine the DNS client policy and no policy is returned, right? So now I'm just going to configure the support for the DNSSEC for the group policy, right? So the what I placed here as far as this command, the NRPT is the name resolution policy table, right? Which is used to require the DNSSEC validation when the DNSSEC-aware client queries the DNS server. So the NRPT is configurable via usually the local GPO for local testing or domain GPO for domain environment. So now I'm just going to configure a domain-based GPO to require DNSSEC validation to query the signed zone that we've created earlier. So just going to head back here, and it should be in the server manager dashboard. There we go. All right, so group policy management. All right, perfect. Open this bad baby up here. Open this up there. That up there. All right, and let's see. There we go. All right, perfect. DNSSEC. All right. So you notice that the DNSSEC GPO is now listed under the practice lab notes, right? We'll see that here. So now I'm just gonna, let's see. And let me just get around, edit. All right, perfect. So now I'm just gonna, let's see, policy, should be Windows settings here, should load. Oh, you know what? I'll just click here instead of waiting. Okay, perfect. So we got to do a few things here. All right. I think no, I'll leave it as suffix. All right. So just going to let's see, secure. Then there's something else here. I believe I need to enable this. All right. Perfect. Then I think I think that's everything. No, should do that as well. Then create. All right, perfect. So now I'm just going to head down to the name resolution policy table. There it is. And apply. All right, perfect. So, okay, I think it's already. Sure. All right, perfect. So let's head out of here. And then I'm going to go back to the server manager, and then we're going to open up the PowerShell. All right, perfect. So just GP, I'm going to do a lot of commands here. Perfect. So now it's updating the policy that I just set. And I have a new command as well. All right, perfect. So it's updated completely. So just see this. No, something I did. See what I mean? Yeah, every time I get that, I know I entered in something incorrectly. All right, perfect. So now that we see that the DNS the DNS validation required has come back true, right? So now I'm just going to query assigned zone with the DNSSEC validation required. So finally, after setting up a domain-based GPO for the DNSSEC validation, I'm just going to run a query to resolve a resource record on the assigned zone that we've created. So just going to connect back to the Windows 10, right? And then, yep, I got the PowerShell open here. I'm going to pretty much do the same thing that I did just a second ago, but on this particular server. All right, so now it's updating the policy. Then, all right, perfect. Then I should do, there it is, that again. All right, perfect. So now we notice that the DNS client policy is detected by our server here. So, and we completely understand this because the DNSSEC validation required is shown as true, right? So now I'm just going to resolve a DNS name with the DNSSEC validation configured. So let's see. So, all right, perfect. So now we see that there's no difference between our earlier results and the resolved DNS name. So this is because a valid trust anchor is present on the DM01 server. So the query is successful even though the DNSSEC validation is required. So it has been completed earlier via the domain GPO. So now I'm just going to run one more command. Let's see, actually, you know what? I'll just be lazy. Actually, I'll leave this here. Then let's see, leave that. Leave that. Actually, I could leave that too. No. add one more thing. All right, perfect. So now the host record www that we created earlier was successfully resolved. And let's see, we can also do it with, let's see, the other one that we created. I want to say it was www2 or www2. Let's see. Perfect. Yep. Same results. All right. Perfect. So now we're just going to get into customize, excuse me, our DNSSEC. So the wizard provides a set of default settings for assigning a zone, right? So in a similar way, we can assign a zone using customized settings for a by using the default. I'm sorry, by using the settings for the DNSSEC feature for the DNS Manager. We're just going to, long story short, start with unsigning the secure zone. So it's going to reconnect back here, and let's get back to the DNS Manager here. We're going to head to tools, or no, okay, there we go. All right, perfect. So we're just going to, well, sorry to expand it. All right, and then see, unsign. Perfect. Then I'm going to refresh so you can see the results. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So now that we're back on the manager here, we notice that the updated records for the secure practice labs zone, that now it's a regular DNS zone, right? So I'm going to keep that window open. And now I'm just going to, okay, you know, we're fine with this manager window here. I thought I was going to go back to the dashboard, but let's see. And we're going to sign the zone again. All right. Then we're going to, yep, customize, that's fine. All right. And then, yep. Yep. Now we're going to remove this, add, right? Then we're going to this one here. All right, and then we're just going to change this to here. All right, perfect, perfect. And okay, just make sure everything is correct. And all right, perfect. So we're all set there. Now I'm going to refresh. Perfecto. So now it's signed with a new key. All right, so now after signing the zone with the custom parameters, I'm going to update the trust point created earlier between the servers, particularly the DC01, the MO1, and the SA01 servers. So on this server, just going to go back to PowerShell here and type in a very long here. All right. Perfect. All right, so now to refresh the trust points that were previously configured for SA01 and DMO1, it's going to pretty much run pretty much the same command, just changing the. All right. Okay, what did I get wrong here? Okay. Oh. Huh? Oh, okay. No, still nothing. Okay, what am I getting wrong here? All right, let's see. All right, so the previous two were fine as far as refreshing the trust points. So what am I doing differently with this one? All right, so PLAB. All right, let's see. I don't know why that's on. All right, so let's see. Trust Anchor, name, secure, practicelabs.com, the computer name, and then P. Oh, there it is. I'm not sure what's happened there before. All right, perfect. So now that we've gotten through that, so now we're just going to show failed and unsecure validation. So usually on a non-authoritative DNS server, the DNSSEC keys, they must be copied to enable validation, usually manually. So for now, I'm just going to copy the keys to DMO1 to test the validation on a non-authoritative server. All right, so let's see. So now I'm just going to connect back to the server here. And then, all right, we have the DNS Manager, good. All right, so let's see. So clear this out here. All right, so now here. All right, perfect. So PowerShell resolve. Goes up here. Sorry. All right. I should just rewrite the whole thing anyway. Why do that when it's supposed to work properly? All right. Okay, what did I do wrong? Let's see, resolve, DNS name, secure private class, server, plab, DM01, DNSEC. Let's try this. I figured that might not be right. All right, so that's fine. So I probably got a failure because the automatic updating of the TAs, the trust anchors on a non-authoritative DNS is not supported, which means that the trust anchor must be manually imported to the DMO1 server. So this is fine. I got frustrated because I don't like seeing the red, but that's fine. I understand why I got it. So now I'm just going to connect back to the DMO1 server. All right, so now I'm just going to go back to the PowerShell. All right, so now I'm just going to remove it. So if it'll let me type here. Okay, there we go. There we are. And it should ask me a question. Yeah. All right, so now the trust anchor that's been successfully removed, right? So now to resolve a name after removing the TA, I'm just going to see here. And then server. Not TML1. So now, again, I don't like seeing the red, but I do understand why I got it. The DNS name resolution, failed because the old trust anchor was previously removed. So now I'm just going to connect again to this guy here. So let's see, solve. Actually, let me click back. Come on, guy. All right, let's see, everything looks good so far, right? Okay. Let's see what went wrong. Name. Yeah, everything looks good. All right, so probably got the see, I got the unsecured DNS packet. So it appears in the PowerShell because the trust anchor on the DM1 server was deleted. So we can also substitute, like I did before with the www2, with the command above to likewise test the DNSSEC. All right, so just for giggles, let's do that. Yep. All right, perfect. So also an important note that the resolve command was introduced in Windows Server 2012 and Windows 8, and can be used to display the DNS queries that include the DNSSEC data. Just be careful not to use the NS lookup command line tool to test DNSSEC support for a zone. The NS lookup tools uses an internal DNS client that's not DNSSEC-aware. But nonetheless, we reached the end of the video. So I've done a few things as far as the exercises. I prepared a DNS setup for DNSSEC, configuring DNSSEC, and also customizing DNSSEC as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.